Shout out to everyone that joined us today. Today is Manifest Monday, episode 81. I got that correct,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
your host, one of your hosts, Diamond Grant over here. Got my brother Zenas, and then got my brother Ramon. And today episode, we're just going to talk about narrowing your focus. So, quick question for you guys: what does that actually mean to like narrow down your focus? Like, what's that look like for you?
Man,
Man, go ahead. No, go ahead,
no,
Z.
no,
Go
no.
ahead. You take this first.
Go ahead. Go
You know,
ahead.
I
Go
used to
ahead.
take it first. I used to take it first, bro. You got it.
Man, it's locking season, man. That's what it is. We locking in, man. That's what being hyper focused is, having all eyes on the prize, tunnel vision in a lot of ways. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I know it could be a net negative, it could be a net positive. I think there's pros and cons to each and everything, right? But I think hyper focus is really just channeling all of your effort and energy into like one goal and doing everything that you possibly can to fulfill it.
Love it.
That's it, man. And it kind of it sounds self-explanatory, right? Like narrowing your focus. It's like making the focus a little more narrow. The way I be thinking about it is like y'all ever been to one of them eye tests, and then they, what I'm saying, they change it until it's in view. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of
Hmm.
like, to be honest, when it's before that, everything just is blurry. But like the narrowing it is like just kind of locking in on a specific thing. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like that specific image of what you want to do or be, um, and really like it becomes like a tunnel around it to just straight to look at that thing. You know what I mean? Not to go too far forward, but I haven't read this book yet, but it's on my book list. Marco, I know you read 12 books a month or something like that. So, um, nah, but it was called. I seen somebody talking about the 12 week year, and it was talking
Mhm.
about just really like making a big goal every quarter and like kind of shutting all the other stuff out for that quarter. So then you got four. So really, you breaking your year down into four pieces, and then being like, I got four big goals for this year. But during that time, like everything else, like the other goals that I'm trying to do that's for next quarter. Right
Hmm.
now, I got to get this one done. You know what I'm saying? And I really like that concept because you could mess around and try to do all four of those things all year and
Right.
not do none of them good.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Thanks.
for real, for real, for real. We was talking about DG. Was talking about it a little bit. Like learning Spanish on Duolingo, right? Like you could be on there for 3 minutes a day, you know what I'm saying? Not really learning nothing at all, you know what I'm saying? Skipping days sometimes. But
Right.
imagine if for real, like for a quarter, you was doing like an hour or two a day. For real, like
Right.
my goal is to learn as much Spanish as I can this quarter.
Hmm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like for real though, like I guarantee at the end of that quarter, bro, you know what I'm saying? You
You'll you,
know what I'm saying? You be ready
you'll
for
be
the
better.
Dominican
You'll be
Republic.
better than you.
You be
You'll be better
Uh,
than you are
ready
right
for the
now.
Dominican Republic. You be ready for the Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. That's how I look at it. I just kind of tunnel vision on a specific thing, like you know,
right.
narrow and get down to whatever that specific thing is. You know, so
Right. No, I love all the answers, bro. I think those are great. Like you made a great point there. I feel like for me, it's personally what I've learned overall. It's just kind of like because when you have too many goals, it's hard to like be fixated on like a specific one. But when you narrow it down, it's like I'm eliminating everything else, and this is the one thing I'm just gonna focus on.
Hmm.
And I believe it's a lot. You have a higher probability of achieving a specific goal because all you think about is that, right? Because even for
mhm.
me, that's something I'm learning myself lately, right? Because sometimes I'll have so many goals, bro. Like I would do a little bit of them here and there. Kind of like the Spanish analogy that you made. It's hard. Yes, I'm doing Duolingo 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, but because I have other things like my energy, my time is all spread out. Then I realize at the end of the year, I'm not achieving something like tangible to my standard, right? Other people will be like, oh yeah, you did better, but to me, like, nah, like I just know how to say hola in Spanish. That's all I know right now.
Como está? You know what I'm
Como
saying?
está, muy bien, all the little things, right? But I
Yeah.
feel like what you said, Ramon, if I would have made my goal this quarter, my biggest goal is just Spanish. Anything else, I'm not really gonna focus on. My free time is
Hmm.
gonna be on Spanish, bro.
Hmm.
And I feel like once you become so fixated and like locked in. All you think about is like Spanish, bro. Now you're inspired to like, oh, maybe when I'm watching Netflix, I'm gonna watch Spanish movie.
Hmm.
I want to listen to Spanish songs. So now by doing that, bro, you're locked in. It's a lot easier. Over time, you reach that goal a lot quicker than if you're just doing it 5, 10 minutes a day. Yes, something is better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, but I believe in order for us to see like tangible results sometimes, but like you said it, man, like that quarter analogy is important. Just get rid of everything else. Don't focus on them right now. And just focus on that specific goal each and every
Hmm.
day, bro. I believe you have a higher probability of achieving that goal. And that's something I'm learning myself, and I think going forward, that's something I'm gonna like start implementing in my life, bro. Just
Yeah.
like every quarter, and just have one goal. I'm just focusing on. Anything else, like I'm not. My time is not spent focusing on that. Because sometimes we have so many things we want to do. We want to like video edit. I want to make music. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to do that. At the end of the day, especially with our situation right now, we still have work. We still have other things. So like our time is like we don't have that much free time. So now we have like 3 hours, and then that 3 hours spent like learning Spanish, like playing the piano, like dancing. Like it's like how
Right.
how am I supposed to be good at one thing? Yeah, like it's gonna be hard. So I think that's a really good point, man. To just like have a specific goal that quarter, and then just like all you
And,
do and think about that goal.
and even then, like just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, like sometimes like the things that you're trying to do are like they almost require a different part of the brain
Facts.
too, right? Like if you know, like I know with me and Z, if we like sitting down to like make music, it kind of you have to tap into like the creative side, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then if you're working on like stocks or some business stuff, you got to kind of click a different mode. And to
Right.
be honest, I don't work that good like switching that fast. Like it's
Right.
not.
Me neither.
I probably have to get the creative stuff out the way first, and then because I can't really just go from like straight business all the time to straight like creative.
Right.
Sometimes I had to like that break between it. So like even if you said if I was trying to like all right, I got 2 hours to get all this shit in there,
Right.
none of it's gonna get really done good.
Right.
The business probably is because it doesn't take like I just know what needs to be done, but the creative
Right.
side it takes me a little minute to tap into that. You know
Correct.
what I mean? Like every time I start writing, like it's kind of like there's nothing in my head at first, and then you know what I'm saying 5 minutes later I'm thinking of stuff, and by 15 minutes I'm in the zone. But
Hmm.
Right.
that's like it takes time to get there. You know what I mean? It takes some time to get there. So yeah, bro. I think just sometimes like even the goals that you're trying to get done together don't even really overlap. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it makes no it really makes no sense to be trying to layer them like that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I get it. We have things that we all want to do. So I kind of want to rephrase the question to y'all. The harder question it's not really hard to understand like the concept of narrowing your focus. The hard part is picking which things or thing that you want to focus
Yeah.
on, right?
Right.
So how do y'all pick that thing to narrow your focus in? Like what's that look like for y'all?
Bro, I'll go first, man. To be honest, like before, because I have like for me personally, I have so many hobbies and things I want to do. Like before, it was all over the place. Like one day it would be like play the guitar, learn how to play the guitar, piano, like all these things. However, lately I've been thinking about it. Like my main goal right now is like business and like finance and those things I'm working on. So once I'm at a good spot in those areas, then I'm gonna be able to like make time to work on those other little hobbies. So for me right now, like I have priority, right? Like the business investment, those things are like my main priority. Everything else is secondary. So like during the day, like if my goal is to like say study finance or play the piano, I need to make sure that I get finance done. I don't if I'm busy, I need to get that done. The piano can be weekend. I can do that whenever because I believe like I'm not trying to be a musician. I'm not trying to like do all these other things. My goal is to like improve in the business, improving my investments. So I just kind of like give more time and focus to that one because that's my main priority right now. As I'm like pursuing all the other things. So during my day, like today, I don't care if I don't like study Spanish today. Like my goal is to at least study finance and do stuff for the business. Like I got to do that's kind of like what we talked about before, like having non-negotiables when it comes to your to-do list. Certain things I'm okay, to like slack on, and certain things I'm not okay. For example, like working out is one of them. I'm not like I'm gonna make sure no matter how busy I am, how stressed I am, I'm gonna like, at least work out an hour. Like I don't. It's okay if I don't like learn how to video edit today. Right? I can do it once a week or whenever.
Hmm.
But there are certain things I prioritize that no matter how busy I am, I give those things like more weight throughout my day. That's kind of like how I get my stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
But
piggybacking off of that, uh my default is always music. Like I think that's just always something that I just always find myself defaulting to as far as what I'm going to give my most effort and energy towards. But to that point though, I think because I can lean so heavily on music and my creativity, I feel like in recent times I've slacked off on other things though, right? Because like I've prioritized music and whatnot and just creativity so much. So, finding that, trying to, find that balance in like, okay, like let me take a step back and re prioritize what my goals are, right? I think that's something that I've really uh analyzed like the last couple of weeks is looking at my 2020s, right? 2025 goals and what it is that I want to accomplish. And to the point, I have this whole list of like 14 things that I want to do this year, right? This is like, goddamn, you know. Um, but to that point, it's just like maybe I should just be focusing on one major
Right,
thing, at a time. Like for
right,
this quarter, I'll focus on
right,
this. For this
right,
quarter, I'll focus on that. Not saying that you should just completely neglect everything else,
right,
right? I'm not
right.
saying you should do that. But making that one thing like your main priority, like that tops off everything else, at the end of the day, like to DG's point, I know that I'm gonna work out. I know that on these days, I know I'm going to work on music. I know I'm gonna make beats. I know I'm gonna, write songs, do all this. Um, and I think figuring out what that is, I think the biggest thing is just really just being like honest with yourself. What do you want the most?
Right. Facts.
Um,
There
and
you
that's the conversation that I've really been having with myself recently. I was talking to P about this over the weekend. It's just like really trying to like tap into like what it is it that I want out of life, like the
Right.
most, more than anything else.
Right.
Especially like, we're not getting any younger. Like, what's next, right? I think that's the question I found myself. Like, what do I want next? Like, what's that thing, right? And um, I think time and time again, it's always shown that it's music, man. But
Right.
I think figuring out how to structure that time and structure that creativity, because I can obviously flex that creative muscle in a lot of different ways within music, but I think being a lot more intentional about that just overall.
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's interesting, bro. Because I think about that. I think about that piece often. Of like kind of asking yourself two things, right? What do I want, and then why do I want it? Like, what do
Right.
I
Mhm.
really want? Like, a lot of times we ask ourselves, the beginning of what do I want, and a lot of people don't even ask themselves that, but just really
Right.
just kind of figuring out what do you really want. Like you know what I mean? I
And
know
why?
I was talking to Moody one time, and she was like, we were talking about reaching financial freedom at some point, right? And then the question would be like, and then what? Like, what would you do out next after that, right? And then when
Correct.
you start answering those, you're probably starting to talk about your real
Right.
passions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if you start answering what you would do after money wasn't an object, that's when you start realizing like these are the things that if it's spend time with my family, if it's, you know what I'm saying? If it's like music, if it's, you would really start talking about your passions after you reach that level. So, um, really asking yourself, what do you want? The first question, and then why, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
And those when you got only we can answer that to ourselves really because I feel like people are over time like they naturally put their own doubts onto you and you hear all these different opinions of what other people think you should be doing, but at some point you have to kind of look in your mirror and be like, yo, who do I want to
Right.
be? You know what I mean? Like what am I trying to do and why do I want to do that so bad? And
Right.
if it's something in me that I can't even really answer it sometimes, but it's just I know there's something in me that has to do this thing.
Hmm.
um you got to do that thing, man. And I think just to, back to your point, DG, of like, just figuring out what you should prioritize.
Right.
It's kind of like thinking about like what requires the most attention right now.
Correct.
Like I don't want to, throw your business
Right.
out there, but you
Right.
had a business venture that right now it was going to
Right.
require the most effort right now. You
Right.
know what I mean?
For sure.
After that, you can kind of move on. But right now, this business thing that I'm working
Hmm.
on. I gotta figure this thing out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
After that, we can kind of figure it out. So I think sometimes it's kind of like what takes the most priority.
Right.
And the other piece I just want to throw into that is how I look at it is this year I wanted my goals to be like to delegate and to automate as many things as possible, right?
For
Right.
sure.
So I've been getting pretty good at it. You know what I mean? With certain things, I'm delegating, automating, and ChatGPT. We hire somebody to do social media for remote escapes. Cool, right? But then there's certain things in your life that you just can't automate or delegate. You
Hmm.
Right.
can't automate your workout.
Right.
You can't
I
automate
love
your workout, right?
Hmm.
You know, you, you know what I'm saying? So like the things that you can't outsource for, you got to prioritize those ones too. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Now, one thing I want to talk about too, though, is like when you narrow your focus, sometimes it comes with lot of stress, bro. Because at the end of the day, that's all you're focusing on, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. So my question is, like, how do you guys like manage stress during that time? Let's say if you're working on a specific goals and taking forever, and you can't figure shit out, and there are a lot of roadblocks along the way. How do you like manage stress to keep pushing, keep going till you achieve that goal?
It's a never-ending process, my brother.
uh,
I don't know, man. I think for me, it's definitely just having kind of sometimes conversations like this, man. Having some certain people that you can kind of bounce, bounce things off with, and like your boy Tyler said, and Z touched us in the last episode, man. Do hard things with quality people, man, and
For
having
sure.
quality people around you definitely helps. Because I think we all stress about something, bro. And
Right,
I forgot what book it was reading. I think it was Atomic Habits, or it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It was one of those two.
right.
But it talks about like choosing your heart.
hmm
Everything's hard, bro. It's hard to be broken. It's hard to get wealthy.
Facts.
You gotta choose what which hard do
Yeah.
you want though. Like you know what I'm saying. So I just realized the stresses that I am going through. I gotta remind myself sometimes like you put this shit on yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody
Facts.
told you
Facts.
to do this thing. Like
Facts.
you trying to level
Facts.
up. Nobody told you you have to do this. You put it on yourself. Now
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you gotta deal. You gotta deal with
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's good stress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I try to remind myself that, bro.
And
Right.
that's a big reason. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a big reason why I can't find myself like complaining about a lot of things. Like there's a lot of people, we all know them. We know people who just be complaining about everything. Just every
Mm.
opportunity they get, they complain. And that's just never been in my DNA. Like at the end of the day, because I know ultimately like this is what I signed up for. Like I know
Mhm.
it sucks. It's hard. It
Right.
requires a lot of effort. It takes, a lot of just pain, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of, just sacrifice, I think more than anything. But at the end of the day, it's just what you sign up for, and you understand to the point you have to make a choice. Like it's either this or that, right?
Right.
Like it's broke or wealthy. Like like it's which one do you want? They both
Right.
have they both have their pros and cons.
Facts.
You know,
Right.
they both come with their own types of stresses, right?
Right.
Regardless of where you're at in life, there's always going to be some level of stress, right? I think in today's world that we live in, a lot of our stresses that I think bog down on us more than anything are financially related, right?
Right.
Because we're just so financially driven in
Right.
this world that this capitalistic world that we live in that we place all these pressures on ourselves, and I'm just as guilty of it as everybody else, right? I have conversations all the time where it's just like, well, why do you feel the need to put all this pressure on you where like you have to be the one that breaks the, I don't want to necessarily say like curse, but but changes the
Generational
trajectory of your
norms.
of changes the trajectory of your family, right? Like breaks the generational norms and whatnot. And it's just like, well, because I know if I don't do it, then probably nobody else is going to do do it. Like,
Right.
or maybe somebody does, but at the end of the day, like, is that a burden that needs to be on someone else's shoulders? Nah, man. I got Samoan broad shoulders, man. Shoulders, man. I was built for this, man. This is what I'm made for, baby. So that's the reason why I put that all that stress and that weight on myself because I know that I can handle it at the end of the day.
Right.
Where I feel like a lot of people can't, and I think we have to remind ourselves of that like a lot. At the end of the day, this is what you wanted, and you constantly have to keep having that conversation with yourself every day. You look in the mirror. This is what you wanted, and you just got to suck it up and deal with it. You just got to see it through, man. At the end of the
Right.
day, win or lose, man, I'm gonna still keep showing up each and every day,
Right.
for myself, for y'all, for my family, for my friends, for the people around me. Like at the end of the day, I know what we're capable of. I know what I'm capable of, and can't settle for anything less than that, man. There's no
Right.
compromising there. Like, I know this shit is gonna happen, and
Right.
it's just I'm just buckled up for the ride.
Right. No, great answers, guys. And one thing you mentioned too, I think I know it's you or Ramon who mentioned that. Like you sign up for this.
Hmm.
You the one you put. At the end of the day, one thing too, going back to the quote from Tyler, sometimes hard shit comes with a lot of stress. If you want to do something hard, difficult,
Nah.
things that most people don't do, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna require a lot of stress. So it's just like for me personally, like I'm like just with the whole house process, right? It was stressful, bro. Like everything, because now it's like you do this, they ask for that. You do
Yep.
that, they ask for this one. And in the
Yep.
day, it's like mentally it's draining, right? But at the end of the day, you gotta just keep going because at the end of the day, like you know what, this is what I signed up for. It's
Yeah.
not going
Hmm.
to be easy. It's going to be hard. Knowing that it's going to be hard, but if you go through all that, it's going to be rewarding because at the end of the day, you're
Absolutely.
building something for the future, right? Like business. Sometimes when you start a business, it's hard. You got to do all these extra work, but over time, once that business starts to grow, you
Hmm.
start to like see the fruit of your labor. So for me, it's just like, man, like, just keep going. Like you said, man, you signed up for this. Like, I asked myself, like, why do you want this, right? That question. But even though you signed up for that, but it's still hard though, right? Because at the end of the day, like, mentally it's draining, bro. Like, you're tired, but you just gotta just keep grinding sometimes.
Hmm.
And one thing for me though is like, stress is not always bad. I feel like stress is like one of those things that like motivate you, pushes you a little bit harder. Because if you don't have like sometimes stress in your life, I believe most often we just want to chill all day.
Hmm.
But if you have like a deadline, if you have like sense of urgency, I feel like stress sometimes just makes you work a little bit harder to get that specific goal or task that you want done.
Yeah.
And you need that feel sometimes.
Yeah.
But I understand sometimes it can be hard because there's sometimes people who are stressed, they tend to like, alcohol, all the things that are negative,
Hmm.
right? So it all depends like how you cope with stress sometimes in order to like pursue your goals. Because like it's gonna get worse than this, right? Because imagine you're at this level right now, but the more you elevate, it's always gonna be like more things to conquer, right? If you climb up the mountain, now you're so high, like you're gonna fall down. It's gonna be more work, right? It's gonna be devastating when you fall. So it's kind
Hmm.
of like the more you elevate, bro, it's just gonna be a lot of pressure, and that's something you gotta be okay with if you're trying to elevate.
Hmm.
But it can be hard, man, because like there's especially sometimes you're in it by yourself, right? Luckily for us, we have like support system and people that you can reach out to. However, there are other people who are like doing it by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have like really anyone else to like reach out to or bounce idea by. So those people going through those type of things can be a little bit harder because at the end of the day, it's all you. Like you don't
Yeah.
have anyone to call and talk to, or sometimes I feel like once you have people who've been through similar situation, it's easier to talk to them about it
Yeah.
Hmm.
than just having someone who never done it before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like it's like you can relate when I tell you about, oh yeah, bro, I'm doing this investing thing. Like I lost money on this option. You can relate because you know what it's like. But imagine me talking to someone who never done that before. They're not really gonna understand like where
Yeah.
I'm coming from. So it's like good
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes to just have people who like done similar things with you. I think they can kind of
Yeah.
like help when they talk to you about their experience. That can actually help to like mitigate stress a little
Yeah.
bit overall.
Community, man. That's what it's about. You need community, whether that's a community of one person, four people, 40 people, just the people who you can turn to who are doing similar or the same shit as you and just understand, just get it, I I don't know if there's like a better feeling than just being understood sometimes, like it's just like, damn, like you just get
Right,
it, man. Like,
right.
like I think just that sentiment is just like, yeah, like, all right, well, shit, let's get it like together, right? Like figure this out. Um, but to your point, some people lack community and
Mm-hmm.
lack those options, those resources, right? And so that's something that you can't take for granted. But that's why I will say people who lack community typically will take a lot longer to accomplish the same goal that someone who has community
Right,
will,
right.
because at the end of the day, you are doing it all on your own, and at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, you will get burnt out.
Right,
You will get exhausted. You will fail, you know, um, and you're gonna be solely the one responsible to pick yourself back up. Whereas when you have community, when you have those people around you, like I said, even if it's one person, whether it's two people, whatever, however many, if you can count it on one hand, if you can count it on, all your fingers and toes, whatever the case may be, just the people who ultimately pour into you and lift you up and make your soul feel good, man. It's just like, especially in those times where it hits the fan and shit ain't going well,
right.
right? Like it's just like, damn, I had all these plans and all these things. I'm locked in, man. I am locked in, and shit's still not working out, right? And so sometimes you just need that little extra external motivation.
Right. And that's a good point you mentioned though. Sometimes you're locked in and stuff still doesn't work out. So
Hmm.
like then how do you push through then? Let's say you locked in for a while, like you might based on what Ramon talked about earlier. You had that 3 months that you all locked in you on a specific goal, right? You give it your all. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the 3 months or that quarter, that goal didn't materialize, that business, whatever venture you failed. Sometimes I feel like that feedback, which is like defeat, can like makes you not want to do anything else again. You feel defeated. Like how do you push yourself? Because sometimes not every time. Sometimes like when you lock in, it doesn't always work out.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't always work out, right? Sometimes you fail, but then how do you like get over that to push yourself to try something else again? For you guys, is there like any specific instant of things that you started, you lacking off, and you didn't get like the result that you wanted, but you have to like pivot and try something else again
I
to
remember a
continue?
specific one, a specific thing that it was when we was at the time we was running our first business and we tried was Collective Entertainment.
Right, right, right. I
And at the
remember.
beginning of the summer, it was me, Z, and Jay Live, man. We sat down and we was like, yo, we're gonna do 3 events this summer. We're gonna do this month, this month, and then that this month, right? So we got all three of these things that we're trying to like you know what I mean, and we're trying to get knocked out at the same time. We end up only doing one of them, and we didn't do it that good either. We did the phone party. It turned out okay. It turned out okay.
It turned out all
But
right.
it turned out all right. But we it if we would have just focused on one, you know what I mean, and put all the energy into that instead of we reaching out to all these different venues and three flyers at the same. What are we doing? What are
That's
we
it.
doing, man? But just to 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 throw that in there on the narrow your focus part, but to really like bring it back to what you're saying on like putting that effort in and not seeing it. I think the
Right,
biggest thing for me is like I can't guarantee you that you're gonna get to your goal if you try something, but I
right,
guarantee you're gonna see some results
right,
if you
Hmm.
just do it. I can
right,
guarantee you that for sure. I guarantee you in that 3 months you will see some results no matter what the goal is.
right,
You know what I mean? I can't guarantee you that if your goal is to win a Grammy, you're gonna do it in 3 months,
right,
right?
right,
You know what I mean? But if your goal was only to focus on this album that you got for this, it will be closer to done or done than not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I,
right,
I can just guarantee it. So I think to be honest, we get too caught up in what the end thing is supposed to look like
mm,
versus just getting attached to the work. And the
that's
easiest
tough.
way to get attached to the work is to like what you do.
Right,
That's why I fall on that. That's why I fall back on like doing things that I like to do because I can't power through something I hate to do all the time if I hate to do it. I'm not wired like that. You know what I mean? I cannot power through it. I mean I do it but even as my job, I can't hate the job that I have.
right,
If I don't love it, that's one thing. But if I hate it, I just can't power through. So I have to, especially outside of work,
right.
I have to love the thing that I'm doing or like love where it's taking me. You know what I mean?
I agree.
and
Right.
you can learn to love things after that. But yeah, that's for me, bro. I think just you know, you had to. It's easier to stick with something that you love. Is my
Hmm.
piece.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I think the way to power through when things just aren't working well, especially when you're locked in on something that you love, I think it's just it's okay to just I think it's okay to not be okay sometimes. I think
Mm,
it's okay to just understand that like what I'm doing isn't working and I need to figure out why,
right.
right? And sometimes you need to take a step back for that reason, right? Like
Right.
and just realize that for whatever reason this shit ain't okay. I'm not okay. Like I don't know why. I just feel like I'm in this place of just being stuck or like shit's just not working. Um Sometimes you hit a plateau, sometimes you reach that point where it's just like there's just no motion, right?
Right.
You're not necessarily going backwards, but you're not going forwards either. You're just stuck, right? And sometimes that just
Yeah.
happens, right? Like the thing about it is it's just like you can't always have constant motion,
Right.
right?
That's
Like
true.
if for going forward or backwards, like there's
Right.
going to be moments of just stillness.
Right.
And you need to be okay with that. Like, like you just have to understand that that also comes with the territory, right? Um, as you climb that peak, right? If you're climbing Mount Everest, as we'll use it as the same analogy, is if you're hiking Mount Everest and climbing towards your goals, there's going to be moments of rest, right? There's going to be
Mm-hmm.
moments where you stop.
Right.
Like you want to keep going, but you can't,
Right.
right? Like, and there's the other option is going back down. And it's like, I'm not going back down. But
Right.
I don't have the energy, the time, or the wherewithal to like to keep going either. Like, like I just need to like sit here for a little while, right? Um, you can't just be in constant motion all the time. So I think just recognizing that it's okay to just like take a step back and then just reassess and honestly just like let yourself um recharge, rest, like re-up,
Right.
focus, just on I think what ultimately matters. Like like P said, you focus on what matters because at the end of the day you love to do it, right?
Right.
Um And I think as long as you reassess and remind yourself of why you love to do it, and then give yourself the opportunity to get right back into the swing of things, it's just like, all right, like shit. I needed a quick little like 2 day break. I needed a little 37-minute break, whatever that looks like, right? You don't just work, even at work, you don't work all 8 hours of the day, right? Like,
Right.
like you're not working every single one of the minutes you was working. You lying. You lying. Look at me in my face and say you was working every single one of the minutes of the 8 hours.
Nope.
Nah, that's why they implement breaks and shit like
Right.
that. So I think just understanding that.
Right. No, I agree. And one thing too, though, is like sometimes you need more time. You
Hmm.
know, let's say if you locked in for 3 months, some things takes a little bit longer, right?
Mm,
Let's say if you go, you like, oh, I'm gonna lock in for 3 months, and then you went all in, and you didn't see that progress right away. But
Hmm.
maybe give it a little more time. It depends on the goal that you're trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
I believe the higher the goal, it just requires more time and effort. And sometimes, like we give up too quickly when we, try things, it doesn't work out. Even like sometimes relationship, right? We try like, oh shit, this shit is hard. Like I'm out, But at the end of the day, I believe sometimes, and nothing wrong with quitting sometimes when things are not, working. You don't
Hmm.
always just stay there, keep doing the same shit. But I believe like sometimes we have to like give a little more time before we actually understand things. You got to do the work, have everything together, and sometimes that might take you a little bit longer for you to start seeing results. But I think
mm,
sometimes when people like some people have that mindset, I just want to get the result like right away. If I do it, if they don't see that feedback, they just quit. And also one thing I want to talk about too is like sometimes we say we are busy, but I feel like being busy and being productive are two different things.
they
Yeah.
are.
It all
Facts.
depends on the process. Cause
Facts.
like sometimes I'll be busy, but busy with bullshit, cause I'm not getting. I'm busy, right? I have all these other goals like to do, cause it feels good when you have all your to do list to just check things out, and they like, hey, I completed everything. But
Mm,
were some of those things hard? Were they challenging enough to help you grow? Because other than I was watching a video about like stretchings and stuff to like increase my flexibility,
Mhm.
and I was thinking like bro, I've been stretching for a while, but I feel like I'm not getting any results. And I was watching this guy, and he was talking about he was like sometimes you gotta like push yourself harder for you to see results. But if you're just stretching, just doing the same shit every day, like yeah, you're stretching, but in order for you to increase the overall flexibility, you have to like do some hard shit, be in that uncomfortable position for a long ass time. And are you willing to do that? And I was and I was thinking about it. I was like, I've been stretching almost every day, but I wasn't like pushing myself to that level to
Yeah.
see that progress. Because
Yeah.
even sometimes we're doing things, but like we're not doing everything that we need to do to get to that next level. And some, excuse me, and sometimes it could be because we don't know, right? We don't know what to do. We don't have the right people around us to like guide us because we're
Hmm.
figuring it out by ourselves. So for me, it's like ask yourself, like, what are you doing wrong sometimes? Because sometimes you could be doing something wrong,
Yeah.
and like, are you pushing yourself a little bit harder? So
Yeah.
with that feedback that I got, now when I'm stretching, I'm trying to like do things a little bit more, a little different, to make sure I'm like pushing myself, doing things that make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, in
Mm.
order for me to like get to that next level. Because if
Yeah.
I keep just like doing the same moderate shit, yeah, I'm not really going to improve my flexibility. It's gonna be capped. But for me to go to that next level, I got to do like a little bit harder shit, you know.
Yeah.
And you can lie to other people, bro, but you can't really lie to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah. And to that point, you sometimes you gotta adjust your routine.
yeah,
It's okay to have a routine, but sometimes it needs to be adjusted.
right. And
and I like, man,
that's kind of like,
I like what you was talking about, like on my bad, I didn't mean to
no, go ahead, bro.
that, bro. But no, I just like where you was going, where like that love when you talking about these levels, bro. It made me just think about like more and more you think about life as the game that it is, right? We're all playing our own game, right? And to get to that next level, every video game, you know what I'm saying? If it's Mario, it's gonna get harder as you
Yeah,
move on. Like you
right,
trying to
Facts.
get to the next level, it gets harder, you know what I mean? But I think about a lot of things when we talk about this narrow and your focus thing. Every game has like the game to beat, right? Like this is what I'm
Hmm.
trying to get to. This is what I'm trying to do, right? And when I think
mm,
about putting too many things on your plate, it's like a video game like GTA or something like Grand Theft
right,
Auto. And they got all the little side
right,
quests. You could just run around and be doing all kind of shit, but you never gonna beat the game doing
right,
just
Yeah.
side quests.
facts,
You
Yeah.
put almost too much energy into some of the side quests, and that's cool to knock some of those out sometimes. But like, should they get the same energy as the main goal of beating the game?
Facts.
Definitely not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And maybe beat the game first and then do some side quests. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just made me think of that when you're talking about
Yeah.
levels, bro. And it's just like, yeah, man, you have to really figure out what game are you playing.
Yeah. That's a bar.
right,
So I guess my question is like, I think, and I'm guilty of it too. I get caught up in side quests a lot. I mean, everyone does. I think we naturally do. But I think, why do you think it's so difficult for people to just choose one thing and focus on it? Like, just choose that one thing and like just do it.
I have multiple reasons, but I just throw one in there because I know there's a bunch of them that we all have. I throw one in there. It's just it's hard a lot of times, like the focus so much, especially in Western society in America, is money, right?
right,
So it's really hard to pick that thing that you're passionate about. How long does it take before you make money doing the thing you love? How long
right,
did like before Michael Jordan made his first dollar in basketball? How long was he playing?
right,
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that is one of the biggest pieces is that, right? Like is we put so much of the focus on money because we have to kind of like live and certain
Yeah.
things like that.
hmm
That it's hard to just lock in on that one thing without seeing anything
right,
Hmm.
from it from a long time.
Hmm.
right,
So that's
yeah,
I'm just one of the pieces I'll say.
But
right,
before we move on though, I feel like oftentimes, even if people did have the one thing and had a blueprint on how to get there, they
right,
still wouldn't do it though.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. What it makes me think like it's it's a hard question. This is a hard question, right? Are some people just better at doing one thing, and then some people just like I'm just I live my life better just trying different things and being balanced, and you know what I mean? Some people kind of are like more one track minded. You know
right,
even when you're a kid, 'cause some people are just like they can move around the class clown, moving around the thing
Right.
and talking to everybody and cool it and doing cool with a lot of stuff, and then somebody's just like the one little kid just playing with the one toy and he's locked in on that one. You know what I mean? Like, is it in us a little bit? I don't know. No.
It, it's hard. I want to say it's in us, but it's just hard to like figure it out. Because even like for myself, like sometimes you think about like, what is that? If someone asks you right now, like one thing to focus on, what is that one thing it's gonna be like for you? To me, sometimes like 'cause some days I think about it and then my answers change another time. Like,
Yeah.
all right, one day will be like finance, or they'll be like working out. So it's kind of like hard to like narrow it down to that specific one thing that you want to do.
Mhm.
And also too, it's hard. Once also like going back to Z point, once you figure it out, it's hard to do it all the time because now you got to do it. You got to like focus. So like I would say sometimes, man, just like human beings, like how we are. I think sometimes we are wired to be comfortable. We're designed to like chill, look for
Mhm.
comfort, and not put ourselves in like to not put ourselves and do things that are uncomfortable. Because I feel like whenever you lock in or focusing on one thing, like you're leaving our comfort zone a little bit, right? Because now you got to do a little, especially when it's hard shit, not just sitting home and playing video game every day, right? Then you say, okay, I want to learn this, I want to do something different because we're not naturally like even with a computer screen, bro, like we're not built to be behind computers all day. That's something unnatural that we're learning, right? That we have to adapt to. So the fact that we have to like program and teach ourselves to do these things is harder. So I think for that reason, most people don't just like select that one thing too. And also, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Because we're afraid too. Like, what if I go all in on this one thing and it doesn't feel like I think we going back to a previous episode we talked about this before. What if I do all this if I just lock it on this? It's like the fear of missing out too, right? Like I don't want to miss out on other things. Like I don't want to FOMO, so let me try other things over here too. So I don't know. It's not. It's hard to just give one answer because I think it's so many factors that all play together into why we do things the way we do them.
What you
Yeah.
think? Z? Why do you think?
Why it's so hard to focus on one thing?
Yeah.
Uh, hey, I feel like people haven't figured out what that thing is.
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are still trying to discover what that thing is, which is fine. Um, I would say B because the DG's point is just hard, right? Focusing on the same thing every day is it's boring.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, the shit gets old fast,
Hmm.
right? It's just, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, that would be the most boring. I don't care what the set. You could it could be I don't know who's the most like fire chef right now. I don't even care who it is.
Right.
If they whipped up that one meal and that first time you try that motherfucker, you like, ooh wee, about like 12 times into that meal, you like, it's all right, it's cool. After you had it about 47 times, you like, man, fuck that. I need some chicken, man. I need
Right.
some fish. Like I need some variety, like right. It's hard to like stay just focused on one thing. Like just to that point, like it gets boring. Like we naturally as human beings, like I think we need something to keep us like entertained and keep us like just going, I think
Right.
more than anything. And it's hard to like just keep going on just like this one thing. And it's just like I know that this is all I need to focus on, but I still can't focus on this motherfucker because it's just like
Right.
this shit is just if I gotta do this shit one more again,
One
like
more
God damn, like damn. But yeah, man, I think it's just hard, right? But
Right.
we talk about it. We've said this in several episodes, right? Like boring is sexy, and I
Hmm.
think it's being able to find the set like the fulfillment. Really, I think more than anything, it's like you got to figure out what the fulfillment is, and that's ultimately like what's going to help you get you there. Um, but that's why we can't rely on motivation, right? Because like if you rely on motivation alone, you will get bored, you will get played out, you will
Hmm.
get burnt out real fast, right? um, the best thing to rely on is discipline, and
Right.
if you can discipline yourself to do this day in and day out, I think it becomes a lot easier. There's still going to be days you're going to have your off days, and I think that's also another thing too. It's okay to have bad days. Not every day. You might not check off every like box each
Right.
and every day. Like you might have set these goals, that I need to do and whatnot. It's okay to have bad days, you know. But at the end of the day, it's just the good days should outweigh the bad
Right,
for sure. But it's also just trying to figure out like how do I keep just doing this damn thing
right.
over and over again when sometimes it just feels like it's beating a dead horse.
Facts. No, you mentioned motivation, and I heard a really great quote about motivation. It's like taking a hot shower. It feels good, but it doesn't last long after that it's done, right? So that's about that's about motivation.
That's stupid.
It feels good
Ah,
when you're in that shower, boy. You feel good after you get out. You're back to being cold again. You know, so next thing you got to do another hot shower. So I know might be a little bit off topic though. I was just curious because you mentioned about just eating one food over and over. If you can eat just one food for the rest of your life, what would that
no,
be?
I couldn't do it, man. I can't do it. That's the thing. I could not do it.
But if you have to pick one though, I'm just know what would that be right now? I was just curious. Like if you could just pick like one meal that you're just gonna eat for the
Oh
rest of your
man.
life, what would that be? I was just curious.
Oh man. I don't know if I have I don't know, man.
If you could
I'd probably say
narrow down your selection to one meal.
shit.
Narrow your
I'm gonna
focus,
just
brother.
Focus.
I'm gonna just say because it was the first thing that came to mind. I think I would say maybe pizza.
Okay. What about you, Ramon?
Salmon, asparagus, and rice. I could do that a lot. I could do that a lot. I could still every day is crazy, but
The
if
rest
I
of your
had to
life,
lock
yeah.
in, you know what I'm saying. I every time I've had salmon, it's like I love this.
Right.
Shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah,
I'll probably say Chipotle or Qdoba, one
man,
of
that's
the two.
yeah, man.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it, man.
I know
Yeah.
we found out pretty off topic, but yeah,
I
it
was
just came to my mouth.
thinking
I
that
was
same
just
question
curious.
too. I was like, what the heck? You
Forever,
know what I
bro.
mean?
Like, well, yeah, Chipotle. I think I can do Chipotle.
Would you eat it together if someone was like if this was even if it was pizza? See, if somebody was like if you ate this forever, you would be in shape. This is the only way you got to eat this thing forever.
Damn, forever.
This is it. It's the only thing you can eat. Could you would just be in shape.
Oh man.
You ain't
Oh.
got to really work for it. You ain't got to even really work for it. Just in shape.
It'd probably still be pizza. I love
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah. I'm not really a big fan of pizza though. Like, I mean, I do, but it's not like, yeah. I would say like my donuts, bro. I can eat donuts every day, especially like the glazed
Really?
donuts. Ooh, oh yeah, I love them. Oh yeah, I love them.
What's your
Oh
what's
yeah.
your what's your favorite donut spot?
But I don't have a favorite spot though. Like for
I was
me,
about to say, don't say Krispy
no,
Kreme, man. Please
so
don't
I don't
say.
have a favorite spot because like usually, bro, when I go to Consumers, bro, like they be having fire donuts, bro. Just like for me, it's so basic for
You
me.
used to
Cause
always
like
bring those to the work party. Remember you? Diamond used to bring them.
you, you
He
know
used
what
to
I'm
bring them to
saying.
the work. I
You
remember
know,
that. So he's
bro.
not
Yeah.
lying. He's not
And
lying.
three of them was already gone when he put it.
Bro, no, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I love donuts, like for real. I love them, but I
He's
just
not
don't eat
lying.
them. I don't like donut and frozen yogurt. Those are my two things. Like, yeah,
Hey, can
frozen.
confirm. Can
Yeah.
confirm. Diamond does live down donuts.
I do, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but you
Boy,
never know.
I ain't never seen you eat a donut in my life. That's
But
crazy.
I just try not to eat them a lot, but I love them, bro. Like, I don't do cake. Like you never, if you party over here, cake. Nah, I won't do cake. But if you
But
have donuts
if
over
they
there,
got
I'm.
donuts with candles on them, they're
I
out of hide them. Hide them.
hide the donuts for me, bro. I ain't gonna
Oh
lie.
my
I
God.
love them, bro. I have to restrict myself when I go to the store because I used to buy them a lot, but now that it's like I'm not just gonna eat them today. So yeah, donuts is my thing. Yeah. Z don't believe it. Like Ramon would tell you, bro. Like I used to buy them a lot. I was looking for one.
It's funny when you said that. You said even from the grocery store. I was like, you used to always
Yeah.
every little party we had when we was working at CNA, bro, you brought the donuts every time, bro. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh, uh,
I love donuts. But yeah, we're getting close to like the hour though. Y'all want to like start the would you rather?
real real quick, I want to throw one more piece into this narrow your focus thing that I have been thinking about the whole time. Is like decision fatigue, bro. I be
Mm,
having that. I don't know if y'all do.
I
But
do,
I
Yeah,
bro.
be
bro.
having that, bro. And
Yeah.
like sometimes it's like when you load your plate with so much shit, sometimes it's just like I don't even know what to. If you got 7 things you're trying to do, what do you want to do right now? I I,
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Like,
Right.
which is priority. You know what I'm saying? So I think that taking that out of it kind of does help too. Like if this is what I'm focused on, I don't even have to think about it. It's that thing is like if I know what I'm about to wear, then I ain't got to think about it.
Yeah.
And they even say
Right.
that with like if you have a clothing line, don't have too many colors because
Options. Yeah.
people don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
People don't want to think about if I want to do pink, turquoise, purple, teal. Which one? You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Right.
if you got the black, white, and gray, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm probably gonna buy one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, bro. I think that decision fatigue is super
Yeah.
real. That's almost worth an episode in itself. But decision fatigue, bro.
And that's why I think
Yeah.
hyper focus benefits, at least for someone like myself, because when you do just have one thing to focus on, you know what it is that you need to do. Like you can
Hmm.
offload a lot of other shit like that you would be investing like a lot of effort and energy towards. You can offload that, like, and you can divert that energy towards something else, like, right? You know, like to the point of what we said, like if you only had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, like it would suck. But it's just like
You know.
I know what I'm
Right.
getting. Like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I know what I'm getting. So
Right.
like let me not even focus on like what am I going to eat today? You know, like
Right.
because I got so many other things that like I can focus on. Like right, you know, you're offloading that energy and that effort and that um brain capacity to put it somewhere else, right? It's just like I know that I need to just focus on this, you know, right? And so that's why I think narrowing down your focus and focusing on one thing allows someone like myself to thrive. I'm not saying everyone can,
Right.
but someone like myself can thrive focusing on that one thing because I've just recognized even since I was a kid, I am very one track minded in a lot of ways. Like I just have to be, I just get tunnel vision and I'm just focused on that one thing, you know, right?
Right. No, that's a good point, Remind about decision fatigue, bro. Because sometimes when you have a lot on your plate, you most often you end up not doing
I,
any one of them, right?
nothing. I'm too
Because every
tired. I
day,
got
just
too much to
right,
do.
you're just thinking about the time you spent thinking about, oh, what am I gonna do right now? Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, and it just takes so much time and effort, just the
Hmm.
whole thought process, especially for us right now, especially after a long day of work, and then now you have to think about all these other things you have to do.
Yeah.
And going back to the episode, if you just had like narrowed down that one thing, now it become easier because you know exactly what to do, bro. And going back to like scheduling my work at 6 a.m., bro. It takes so much time off my mind. I don't think about it no more, bro. Because I wake up in the morning, I know this is what I have to do. Like
That's
I
what I'm
don't have
supposed
to
to be
like
doing
think about,
right
oh,
now.
should I study right now? Should I go read? Should I? No, I already know I have to do that, and that just eliminate a lot of things, bro. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to like implement in my life, bro. Like have narrow things down, making sure I just have one specific thing I'm focusing on. Because I noticed that I'm better when I have singularity of focus
Hmm.
than when I have just so many other goals all together I want to
Yeah.
accomplish one day. You know, it's just
Hmm.
harder for me, like fatigue, bro. I would do them that I get tired. But like now, I think after like my takeaway from the episode, what I'm gonna implement is like just try to like narrow things down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's when I
Agree.
do better, bro.
Yeah.
You got to know yourself a little bit more too, right? You got to know what works for you. You know, it's cool. Like I said, it feels good checking out things on the board, but at the end of the day, it's like those things were not kind of hard. It was just like it doesn't require that much work. You know,
Yeah.
in order for me to get to that next level and to focus better, I need to like narrow down what I need to get done
Hmm.
that day instead of just having five other shit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I can say, okay, I'm gonna do this today. Tomorrow, go, I'm gonna do this. Like maybe just have five weekly goals instead of like 30.
For real.
You know?
Even now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't gotta cut them all at the immediately,
Right.
but I think about like I don't watch a lot of it, but on Netflix, bro. You ever just hop on there and just like about to go watch something, and if you don't got an idea what you about to watch, you
Right.
could just scroll
Yeah.
long enough to where you don't even want to
And
watch
then
nothing no
you
more.
just turn it off for real. You
Turn
turn
it
it off.
off.
And like
You know what I
I'm done.
mean? It's so much better for me than when the homie or something tells me, "Yo,
Recommend.
go watch this show called Forever." Oh damn,
Right.
I'm going straight to it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I don't.
Right.
I'm skipping. I'm gonna search it on the side. Go straight to it. Episode 1. Let's throw it on, and we there.
Right.
But like when you just searching and you don't even really got no plan for it, it don't never really You know
You
what I
ain't
mean?
start watching it yet though.
I, I did. But when
Yeah,
I
I know you
next time I get on,
did.
but what next time I get on Netflix, I got a long flight coming up.
Right, but now you
That's it.
know.
Next time I
Not
get on Netflix,
right,
yeah. But now I know, like, if I have on Netflix, I'm not scrolling.
right,
I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
right.
facts.
I
Facts.
guarantee you that.
No, it
You
saves
know,
so much
so
time, bro. It's true, man.
Yeah.
And that's like for me, bro. I've been thinking about it, like just kind of with the whole house process and all that. How how it worked a little bit different. Like I feel like I did more within a short period of time because like I had a specific time that I need to get things done by.
yeah,
It's like when you deposit that earnest money, you got like 20, like a certain day to get to get your
Yeah.
loan approved, or else
yeah,
they don't even. So I feel like it helps to like work a little bit different. Because I think for me now it's like maybe like I need to give myself deadline too of things I want to
Hmm.
accomplish.
Yeah.
And so
Facts.
oh, I'm just gonna do this by when,
hmm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so I think just all those little things, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and that comes to like the whole narrowing down too, because having a timeline, when to do these things, that narrow things down. Because now you don't have to think about it. By the end of the month, we all know by the end of, by the first, we got to pay our rent. We
hmm
ain't got to think about that. I'm like, yeah, even though it sucks, we don't want to do it, but we know we got to do that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like
hmm
easier because you think about it, you're like, okay, shit, it's the end of the month, time to pay my rent.
Yeah.
But like
yeah,
having like auto pay, that's like narrowing things down. You ain't gotta like go through all your account. Oh, when does this one due? You already know it makes it. It just takes. It
Yeah.
just saves you more time
hmm
and
Yeah.
resource to like do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the thing I wanted to touch on before we move on to the would you rather is I think as you like narrow your focus and you figure out what that thing is for you and when you start ultimately leading yourself in the right direction, I think something that you recognize along the way is you just got to say no a lot more often. You got to be
Hmm.
comfortable with just saying no. Um, because as you figure out what that thing is and whatever it is that you truly want to like fulfill in life, everything that doesn't serve that, I'm not saying to just like let it go to the wayside, right? Like of course, I'm not saying like every social function,
Right.
no, 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 I'm not going to that. No, I'm not. No. Mm-mm. I think it's hard to find that balance, right, between like what like it's hard to find that balance between like am I being too selfish? Am I too fixated on this and not ultimately budging and like, showing up in other ways and for other people, right? But also like this is what's required in order to like make this thing happen too. And so I think just at the end of the day, just avoiding those distractions and just learning how to say no, I think, and being comfortable with it. Because to DG's point earlier, you get FOMO.
Right.
Like we all get FOMO, right?
Oh
Where it's
yeah.
just
Oh
like
yeah.
shit, like you might be at the crib chilling, working, grinding. You tap into somebody's story like. I remember every time we go on a trip, DG's like, I'm gonna block your ass because I know he got FOMO because he like, man,
All the time. All
I
the
should
time.
fucking be there,
For
right?
real. And
You
I should have
know,
been there.
he should have been here, so that's why I post a little extra for DG, so I'm like, just to make his ass a little extra jealous, like, yo, ass, you should be here,
No, it's true though. It's true. Right. It gets you thinking, especially, like, especially when you're locked in, you see others like, damn, man, like, I should be out there. Maybe I should go out a little bit more. Nothing wrong with doing that. But like you said, man, it's just kind of like when you see other people are doing things, like, you're like, damn, like, I should be outside.
Yeah,
Like, I should be
yeah,
outside doing those things too. Like, you're missing out on what they're doing too. Which sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, like you said, bro. Sometimes saying no is important, man. Especially to like what you want to get. You gotta say no sometimes, especially when you're not seasoned. It's like you're not gonna say no forever. It's like you just say no because you got things to focus on. It's like you go into a job interview. I'm sure like you would love to help somebody, but if you see someone on a flat tire, if you have like a job that you really really want, I'm sure you're not gonna be like, damn, let me go help that person.
mhm,
Like
mhm.
I want to call for help, but I can't physically help you right now because I have something. Even though it sounds selfish, but something you gotta be selfish sometimes to get to that
That's
next
it.
level.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's okay to be a little selfish sometimes,
It's
and I think
okay.
like there's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Val. She tapped in. She said, "I got FOMO on fear of missing out on money." So
I do too all the time.
I feel you. I feel you. But
Even that gets me sometimes, right? Y'all ever try to get into too many business
Oh
ventures
yeah.
because you think, oh, I
Oh
can make a
yeah.
little bit
yes,
of here,
Oh yeah.
turn
yeah,
into
Oh yeah. All the
Turo, real
time.
estate, stocks, crypto. I
man.
need it all. Like
Do you, do you know how much money I lost out on because of fuck in options trading because of FOMO? It's just like fuck, like you missed the motherfucking train, and it's just like, all right, let me get back in this motherfucker, and then that motherfucker just takes, and it's just like
Yeah.
that shit
I I
just
I
sad.
I lost a lot,
I hate
bro.
that shit. I hate that shit, man. Will really bite you in the
It
ass,
was
man. You know, it's
ruin your
just
life to a certain level. It ruin your life, man. Because sometimes, especially with run thing, it will. Because I lost a lot too, Z. The other play.
I wanted to throw my phone out the motherfucking window, like fuck. So yeah, man, FOMO is real. It's
Yeah.
real, man.
All right, y'all want to get to the would you rather?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
You want to kick
I'm
it, Z?
I'm all right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. All right, y'all. Episode 81, Manifest Mondays. Y'all know what we gonna do. This is the Spot Network. We gonna put y'all on the spot each and every episode and ask you a would you rather question. It's simple. It's this or that, right? But it's always not so simple. Today's would you rather question is: would you rather say no to 100% of your social life for 2 years, with the exception of 1 hour call per month? Also, to double down on that, that one call goes to one person. It's not like in that hour you can call like four people or whatever the case may be. You can only call one person for 1 hour per month. So you can only have 12 conversations throughout the year.
And no kick it time. No kick it time. You can't
No
kick
kicking
it.
time. There's no kicking it in person, no nothing. It's just you got 1 hour phone call per month. So 12 calls per year for 2 years. So you got to say no to 100% of your social life for 2 years to accomplish your dream, or keep showing up for everything and watch that same dream take 15 years. So I'm going to repeat this. Would you rather say no to 100% of your social life for 2 years, with the exception of 1 hour phone call per month, to accomplish your dream, whatever that is? Whatever your wildest dream is, that's what you're accomplishing. Or keep showing up for everything and watch that same dream take 15 years.
Damn.
So it's 2 years or 15 years.
Right. So at this current age right now, I would take the first option, not talk to anyone for 2 years to accomplish my dream. If I was 20 years old, if you would have asked me that, I would have picked the second option. Hang out with all my friends, do all that. It take me 15 years because I like by this age, I would have everything that I wanted. But just based on right now, I don't think I want to wait till I'm like 50, to accomplish the things I want to accomplish. So I'd rather sacrifice that 2 years right now, even though I know it's gonna suck, it's gonna be terrible, but I feel like I'd rather sacrifice that 2 years right now and not talk to family, friends to reach my dream than just coasting and just it taking 15 more years. Because I feel like 2 years in my mind it's gonna go by pretty fast, especially when I'm busy and locked in.
Yeah,
Then if I can
Yeah.
be able to like make time, like I know people are gonna be mad at me. They're gonna hit me for
yeah,
that 2 years. But
absolutely.
then once I accomplish my dream, like I know they gonna come back,
You know
especially
why? You know why they don't come
right,
back too? It's because you succeeded,
right,
and they gonna forgive you. Like
right.
that's the thing.
Right,
They
they
gonna
gonna
forgive
forgive
you because
me,
you succeeded.
right. So I feel like with that, especially we already had a great relationship before, and I can explain to you, hey, bro, this is the reason why I didn't talk to you for 2 years, man. Like I'll pick that right now. But if I was 20 years old, if you ask me, I'm picking the second option for sure.
But think about it though. Really, even then, like if you was 20, bro, by 22, it'd be
I
cracking.
know, but I'd rather,
You know
you're
what I'm saying?
young. I'd rather,
It'd be
I'm saying like,
cracking.
but
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'd rather just like be free because I know it's gonna happen, right? Like, shit, by 35, I'm gonna get there. But now
Yeah.
let's turn up, let's travel, let's do all these things, let's make all these memories together. But like you said, by 22, it'll still be cracking too, though. Like you said, so either
Yeah,
option will be good. But like for me, I just want to like probably like enjoy the process a little bit longer. So now I'm taking the first option for sure, 2 years.
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
And,
As
and
we go ahead, Zay.
no, I was just gonna say I wanted to tap into what Val said really quick. She said she would take at our age the 2 years because that would be nothing. But she said so many young people don't realize all the risk taking they should be doing, the sacrifices that will mean so much for their future. I couldn't agree more. But just wanted to tap in with that before you get into it.
Oh, that's a gem, man. It's a gem, man, and you can take really big risks. Like the younger you are, take those big risks, man, because you don't got the responsibilities yet. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? Like the one thing that everybody you don't realize when you're young that you have on everybody, you don't got experience, you probably don't got money, you got time.
got
that's
time.
You know
real.
what I mean? And a lot of people that are older, they would probably give all their money up to start again at that
Right,
age. You know what I'm saying? Like to do,
right,
you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? To get some time back. So
facts.
um yeah, I mean, I honestly think we had talked about this question a little bit, but and how hard it would have been after we crunched it down to 2 years. I could do that.
Right.
I
Yeah,
could do 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
That's not that bad,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get my little list of 12. You know what I'm saying? Get
So,
that hashed out, bro. Like in 2 years is too long. It's too short. I feel like
Yeah.
it's too short. Like I do get, it gets harder after
Right.
that. That's when it gets harder to choose.
Right.
But like for 2 years, man, y'all gonna see me at 36. It's up. It's up. It's up, bro. It's up. You know what I'm saying? We
that's the
up.
thing. That's
Everything
it.
that
We
you
up.
want, that's dope,
That's
bro. Because
Everything.
like everything that's your dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think when 2 years is too short. Like 3 to 5 will make me kind of think about it a little bit more. Like, but I think I'm on the two
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
I hate if we all on the same side, but
Yeah.
this
yeah,
time
Yeah.
two is too
yeah.
easy for me.
Yeah.
Two
Two.
is I could do. Give me the two-piece combo, baby. Go ahead and give me that.
Yeah. Two. I'm taking two
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm taking a two-piece, man. At the end of the day, your wildest dream, right? Think about whatever that is and being able to accomplish that in 2 years. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Now, don't get me wrong, accomplishing that same dream in 15 years is still an accomplishment, I think, more than anything. But if I'm
Yeah.
taking 2 years or 15 years, like granted, I'm gonna have 0% like social
Right.
life for the
Right.
next 2 years, but I know on the other side of that, at the humble age of 38, I'm cracking. Like I'm like, yo, whatever it is that I've ever wanted, that my people have ever wanted and whatnot, it's attainable.
It's not.
It's here.
It's here for
It's here.
sure.
Right? And um that's just this level of sacrifice and dedication that it takes sometimes too, though. Like,
Right.
like I'm not saying go out and like have literally no social life for 2 years,
Right.
but for some of the people who were able to accomplish what they have today, it did take that level of dedication and effort to make it happen.
Right. Even for us, bro, I feel like just where we are right now, it took some dedication and sacrifice to get
Hmm.
here. Because there are so many things like, I didn't do to be in this position.
Hmm.
Like this year, but I don't remember the last time I went out to the club or party or anything like that. Been almost like 5 6 months, right?
Hmm.
To
Yeah.
like because I want to life and there are things I want to accomplish, right? And sometimes you like I feel like damn I'm missing out, right? But at the end of the day, like it's like an opportunity cost. You can't be everywhere at the same time. You gotta like sometimes you gotta like let go of certain things to get there. So for me, like this year, like I told myself, 5 6 months, I'm just gonna lock in. I'm not gonna go to parties and all these things. 'Cause I just want to stay focused. Because like
Yeah.
for me, like when I think about it, going out is like it's not just one day, especially when you go out, like time and all that. You're tired the next day. You're late. It just kind of like takes a toll on you the next day. So
Hmm.
for me, like that's some of the sacrifice you gotta make. Not everybody want to do that, right? And you don't have to do that to get to your goal. I just chose to do that.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like it's not like you have to do that to get to your goal, but there are other sacrifices you gotta make to get there.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be doing everything and then reach your goal. Sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta cut back on certain things. If you want to be in a better position financially, like us, there are so many things we cut back on spending. I want to get this nice watch, but like maybe I should invest that money in S&P a little bit.
Yeah.
And see, because we want to
Facts.
get to somewhere, we want to get in a better position financially. So
Yeah.
those little sacrifices, but over time, I feel like they helps you to just reach your goal.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Candy real quick, man, because you dropping bars, DG. But Candy said, "Well, at my age, I've not accomplished my dream or be close to accomplishing my wildest dream. I choose to live my life to the fullest right now. I have less time ahead than what's behind."
Mm,
And that's just a
that's dope.
thing to think about, man. And I
Hmm.
think when we was even talking about this question, that sometimes nothing's guaranteed in that 2 years.
Facts.
Nothing's guaranteed, man. Like I think that's an easy thing to forget sometimes. It's like, you know what I mean? Like we think that we got forever
Yeah.
for
We
certain
don't.
things and for people around us and for ourselves. You know what I mean? But we
Yeah.
don't. We don't,
Yeah.
man. We don't.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about, man. Like 2 years is short enough, but if we were talking about this, if it was 5 years, I don't know.
I'm not
You
doing
know what
five
I mean?
years. Yeah,
You see
five
what I'm
years is not
saying?
Yeah.
It's like
happening.
if
Nah.
it was 5 years to just like cut everybody off and get one call a month, that's too
That's too
much. You know
long.
what I mean? So
Right.
so yeah, man. So it's things to think about, man. Because the truth is you got to find some balance in this thing called life, right? But I think it's cool to cut off certain things, but there's certain things that I should have some type of social life, whatever that is. Some it don't got to be what it looks like for everybody else. You don't got to be at every club. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? On the couches with the bottle with the light in it. You ain't got to do that every weekend. But have you a little circle,
Right.
man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all play some spades
Right.
sometimes. That's cool. You
Right.
take a little, little group trip once a month or something. You know what I'm saying? Like just,
Just a
even
quick
if it's
phone
just
call, bro. Just
your
pick up your
small
phone.
family,
Yeah.
quick. You know what I'm saying? Anything. You know what I'm saying? So have some type of small social piece to your situation, man. I
Hmm.
think that's important, man.
Right.
It's important, man,
That's
for sure.
it, man. Any closing remarks before we dip out?
Yeah, man. For me, it's like I think to get to that next level, man, it's required tremendous grind, and then uh, pretty much the entire episode just narrowing down your focus. Because sometimes we have too many goals and things we want to accomplish. And there's one of my I read a book about it. There's a really good quote in this book. It talks about a person who chases like two rabbits, end up with nothing, right? Because he's chasing both of them, You're, like going back and forth. It's hard to like focus. Like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I think it's just important, man, when you narrow down your focus, it makes your goal, your dream a lot easier for you to accomplish because now you're locked in, you're fixated on our goals, and you're obsessed with whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And
Hmm.
all you think about is that specific thing.
Yeah.
And I believe you're gonna do whatever it takes to get to that goal, man. So that's kind of just my takeaway, closing
I
remarks.
agree with you. Before we move on from this point, though, what would you say then to the people who genuinely believe in balance and ultimately multitasking then? Like there's people who on the other hand of things will say like, oh, well, you have to multitask. You have to, you can't convert so much of yourself. You can't put all your eggs into one basket. People say it all the time though.
Right.
So like where do you draw the line?
I mean, just do what works for you, right? For me personally, I know that whenever I juggle a lot, I
Hmm.
tend to drop a lot of shit,
Facts.
like when I juggle, or whenever I'm like, I'm holding this right now and focus on that, it's firm. You're not just going to be able to like, you know, snatch that away from me.
Yeah.
So for me personally, what I'm just learning, because I juggle a lot of things before. And by doing that, for me, it didn't work, right? I noticed that when I narrow things down, when I focus on one thing at a time, that's when I see the best results. So that's
Facts.
what works for me. Like I'm sure other people are good at multitasking, right? But for me personally, I would say just like when I narrow things down, it helps me a lot better. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, that was a great point, bro. I don't even have nothing. I don't have much to add to that. That's a great point, bro. You hit it the best. It's like do what works for you.
Hmm.
Right.
But I don't know too many wildly successful people that focus on everything on the way up.
Yeah.
Right.
They focus on stuff after they
Fact.
mastered
Exactly.
the thing and got to
Yeah.
there. So that would be my point of that. Like I don't know anybody that was doing 12 things on the way up and then all 12 of them cracked. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Yeah.
know too many of those
Yeah.
people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Right.
So
I don't know if I know a single one. So I mean, hey, kudos to anybody out there who's doing 12 things and all of them cracking. That's a different type of level of success.
Right.
But I was just literally having this conversation with shout out to the homie Rich. We was having this debate about LeBron, right? Like about like, people who have accomplished it all. And that was the person he kept referencing was like LeBron has it all, right? He got the family, he has, his basketball career, he has, endorsement deals, he's doing movies, all this stuff. And I'm like, but it all started with basketball. Like
Right.
it all came
Mm-hmm.
from that one that like being hyper fixed. Like all
Right.
look, granted, he played football too, and he
Right.
dominated in football actually as
Right.
well. Like he was a crazy wide receiver. LeBron is just literally just like a freak athlete,
Right.
right? He's just an anomaly. But he went all in
On
on
basketball.
basketball though.
Facts.
Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to figure out whatever that one thing
Right.
is for you, and then after you fulfill it, then you can gain access to other things. Right?
Facts.
Because now you have the resources and the ability to do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if LeBron was focusing on 17 different things at the same time while trying to juggle his basketball career, he never would be in the position that he is now. Right?
Facts.
Like, and that's
Facts.
just the thing about it is just like you can't put too much on your plate, right? Like if I imagine if I was looking at a plate and I had 17 different things to eat on that, I'd be like, man, shit. Even if I
Right.
had the appetite, I'd be like, shit, I'm about to smack all of this.
Right.
I'd take like 7 bites and be like, damn,
Right.
I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm like,
No,
fuck,
it's,
right?
it is. It's
Like
facts.
it's just, you like this. It's the same. What is it like when you're eating with your eyes? You're looking at too many things, right? And it's just like you think you have the appetite for it, right? Where it's just like, yo, I want to eat all 17 of these motherfucking things, right? But once you actually start eating, you like, yo, fuck all of this. Like,
Right.
yo, you realize you only ate really about three of them things on that plate out of the 17 because you was eating with your eyes, right?
Bro, that
Like,
that was me a couple weeks ago. Sorry for cutting you off, bro.
no, you good, bro.
I told my girl because I was hungry. Like she was gonna crumb a cookie. I was like, I need 3 cookies, bro. And she brought me two.
I know
Bro,
you do though.
I need 3 of them, bro. I only had half of the chocolate chip, and I was done.
I know you
I
half
know
of that
your
bad
ass.
boy.
Bro,
You took 2 bites. It was like,
I
oh,
was
fool.
done, bro. And I was like, yeah, because I was so hungry. I thought I could have smashed 3. I like, give me 3 of them. And then when I had it,
Yeah.
like you said, yeah, I just had half, and I was done, bro. Like, I'm okay.
And that's why I say, like, that's why I referenced earlier, like, you have to know yourself
Facts.
because I think, honestly, a lot of times, and I think I'm using it as the analogy is like your hunger and your appetite,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of people think they have the appetite and the hunger that they really don't. And you
Facts.
find yourself eating with your eyes too much. You think you have the ability, you think you have the hunger for like, yo, I'm gonna conquer like 12
Right.
different things today.
You
Because
don't.
in your mind, you got that motivation. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get all this shit.
Right.
And realistically, you don't. Like, I mean,
Facts.
myself included. Like,
Facts.
no one. Like, at the end of the day, you have to be real about what you're real with yourself about what it is that you want, and narrow whatever the 17 things on that plate. Drop it to two.
Facts.
Drop it to 3 things, and then it's just like, okay, now I can actually like figure this out, right? Like, or even if you want to like get hyper focused and narrow it down to that one thing, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? As much as I would love to load up my Thanksgiving plate with this and that and all this and blah blah blah, I'm gonna just throw some turkey on my plate and I'm gonna just focus
Right.
on this,
Right.
right?
That's true. That's bars,
And
bro.
and that's the thing. It's just like you just got to be real about yourself and like what it is that you want,
Right.
and ultimately like just know what appetite you have,
Right.
and because that we think we have the hunger and the grit to really like make a lot of shit shake, but like once you start spreading yourself too thin and trying to focus on too much, that shit fades fast, man.
Right.
Motivation is here and there,
Hot
right?
shower.
That's it, man. It's like chasing that nut, right? After everyone knows that high, like after you get your nut off, you like, damn, like
Yeah.
you just
Why am I
everything
even
comes to the
here?
reality, right? Like,
For real.
but you always chasing
Yeah.
it, right? It's just like, damn, I'm always just trying to get this though. So um yeah, man, I think it's just about it's about the process, man, and just being real with yourself
Yeah.
and just knowing really what you can eat on your plate.
I love the analogy, bro, about like the food and then just kind of like your goals. I think they all coming together because you can
Yeah.
have that hunger, but in the day, like, do you really have the drive, the ability to do that?
Mm-hmm.
7 things. You wrote it down. You have that hunger, but now it's in front of you. Now you're overwhelmed, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of like it's true because it's real life. It happens when it comes to food, but the same thing when it comes to your goal. Now, like Ramon was talking about earlier, you have that 7 tasks in front of you, and you don't even know where to start. But if
Mm-hmm.
you just have one or two, oh, this is what I need to do. And bro, like my takeaway from all this, man, is just like everything we talked about today, just trying to like implement that in my life.
For
Cause
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
still I'm
that's
still
good.
big on like having a lot of shit on my plate, and sometimes I
Yeah.
don't eat everything. Literally,
That's
I
it.
don't.
Same, bro. Same. All
So,
three of us.
so that's something, bro. I'm like, actually, because that's like the goal of this platform. It's like things that actually gonna benefit us too, because we have these discussions. It's just like, oh, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better?
Hmm.
Because like now my takeaway is like, okay, how can I find ways to like narrow down my focus on things that I want to accomplish
Hmm.
instead of just having all these random shit. Maybe I can just find a way, pick two, and kind of like tie them together, and that's what I'm gonna focus on instead of just having like 20, 35 things on my plate.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the fact, bro. I love it, man. The
that's my
last, my
takeaway.
last, my last remark I think that I'll add into it is just like on the narrowing your focus piece. Sometimes it even helps other people being able to deal with you, like knowing exactly what you do. They
Yeah.
know how to work with you, right?
Facts.
Like
Yeah.
if you think about who I want on my team, if I need somebody that does this, do I want somebody that comes up and tells me they do 10 things,
Right.
or they tell me they do this thing very well?
Right.
I That's who I'd want on in this position, right? You know what I mean? Do you want five centers on the team? You know what I'm saying?
For
Or the person that thinks they can just do
real.
everything, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Nah, sometimes you want a specialist in certain areas, right? So that's like that's something I had to deal with myself too. Is sometimes it's like people not really knowing where to work with you at, right? Like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like if they don't know all the way what you do, if you do all of it, then you know what I mean? They're probably not gonna you're not gonna be the one that they suggest for certain things if you do all
Right.
of it. But the one
Right.
that only does that, posts about it every day, this is what I'm doing, that's the first
Right.
person that's gonna come to mind when they think about that thing.
That's
So
it.
Fact.
I think I think that even on the narrow focus your part, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just throw that in there.
Absolutely. And I just want to say a big shout out to everyone who joined the live today. Really appreciate you
Yeah.
guys joining us every Monday. Thanks for the love and support, and just like the interaction, man. You guys are engaged, and in the comments, really appreciate you guys. And shout out
Yeah.
to y'all, bro, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Like it's good. I'm gonna say this on live, and I tell you guys all the time, bro. It's good to have you guys in my corner.
Likewise,
You know what I'm saying? Just be able to
bro.
like chat, learn from each other and help each other grow. And just kind of like seeing how far we came from CSU when I met Ramon giving me his CD on campus. And now,
Yes, sir.
just seeing like the growth, bro, like the evolution. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes people like, I know like they just see the result, but they don't see behind the scene everything you did to get there.
Hmm.
But like it's just crazy. Like I've been there, man. I've seen everything. Like when remote skate, like when y'all first started to like now, like last year and all that. Even like for me, man, like just y'all been there, seen the things that I started. Now at this level, bro.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, man, I appreciate you guys. Like I'm glad that I have brothers like y'all in my corner.
Yeah. Likewise, man. Gotta have your brothers, man.
Absolutely, bro. A lot of things don't happen without the same corner around, man. And just people that like constantly inspire you. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if anybody, like I said, I don't know what it feels like sitting on the other side of this, but sometimes it's just really us just chopping it up, having
Right.
these conversations. We might have just had it on the phone, but just having it here where other people can kind of tap in real time. I think that's super important, man. And like I said, I don't take any of this for granted, man. You know what I mean? Do hard shit with quality people,
Absolutely.
man. And that
That's
like
it.
that's your life changes itself at that point because it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you be getting stressed and you be forgetting, but then you just look up like I'm doing some kind of dope shit though. Like
Right.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm
No, for
saying?
real.
You
For
Yeah.
know what I'm
real.
saying?
For
So
real.
like, but that it just, the small moves add up, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate y'all too, brothers.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to everybody who tapped in once again. Be sure to follow us at the Spot Network Official on all social media platforms, but specifically YouTube. Definitely tap in with us there. We got all of our content live there. But we'll see y'all next week, man. Be blessed. Have a good, productive week and manifest some shit, man.
Absolutely.
That's
We out here.
it.
All right,
Shout out
fellas.
to Leo too.
All
Billionaires in
right.
the building. Holla.
Peace
Yes,
out.
sir.